Hey guys, it's Derp again. Um, a few of you have talked about not being sure exactly how tutoring works for your heirs, and frankly, it's definitely a little confusing. And to be honest, I'm not sure that I know exactly how it works as far as benefiting you, but in terms of percentages and things like that. But I can definitely show you how to get started with it. So, if you look in your harem, you can see all of your married folks, right? These are the only folks that you can send to get tutored. And all of your heirs, as you can see, as you're raising them, have specific specialties, specific attributes. Like Deborah, right now, who's not finished, has military attribute, military specialty, but I'm not going to get to tutor her until she's married. So I can't actually do anything with her just yet because she's not grown and married. So that's a good reason to marry off your heirs. But remember, that's something that you want to do during the appropriate rush. So during empire growth is when you want to do that. So when you've got heirs that you can get married during empire rush, that's when you're going to be able to send them to get tutored. So there are certain things that you need to do that. And these scrolls down here at the bottom are the things that you're going to use to actually connect them to viziers. You can see I've got 41 regular scrolls, 21 of the next level up, and 8 of the level ahead of that. Those are the more rare scrolls. They're more expensive to get, and you're less likely to get them. And it does cost gold to get the scrolls. So the place that you get them is actually in your Imperial Council. So you go to your envoys, and the little, I don't know what the hell that is. It looks like some kind of strange glowing fireplace in the middle of the right side of the screen. If you tap that, it says that you can dispatch your heirs with that envoy to give them a chance to be gifted with talent tomes. They look like scrolls. I don't know why they have to be complicated about it. It's just scrolls. So you also notice that if I send heirs with this envoy, I can only get either the first level of scroll or the next level. And every heir that I send has a chance to get a scroll. So it's also true that if I send more than one, it's going to start costing more money. So one heir is 1.48 million, two is 3.098, and so on and so forth. But if I go up to like this guy, the Russian envoy, and dispatch, I can get any of all three. But it also costs more gold to do that. So if you're a player who is struggling to collect gold, you find that you don't have enough gold to level up your viziers for the suits that you've got and things like that, that may not be something that you want to do. You may want to stick to the lower envoys so that it doesn't cost you as much. And also, by the way, during Gold Rush is a good time to do this. It uses your gold, so you might as well do it while it's going to benefit you twice instead of just in one way. So again, it's going to cost more. You can see it's 5.9 million just to send one heir with this guy, but he has a chance of getting the better scroll. You can see it says 50 to 100% of the max specialty rating, so on and so forth. And all that is just kind of jargon to me. I don't know what the hell it means. I'm not a mathy person. I rely on other people in the union to talk math to me. So I don't get too complicated as far as that goes. I just know if they have scrolls, that's a good thing. In any case, I can send, again, more than one if I want to. But again, the number kind of goes up exponentially on you. And you can go all the way down the list of the envoys. I've got all the envoys down here. The Polish envoy, he is the most expensive, but obviously the best chance of getting the most advanced tome. So just to dispatch one is 11.9 million. So if I dispatch one rather, he's going to come back in an hour and probably have at least one of those tomes and a pretty good chance of having the most advanced one. But you can send as many as you want if you've got that option. I'm not sure at what rank you can do that, but you've got the little button down here to dispatch more than one. If you don't have enough gold to send more than one, then that option is grayed out and it won't give you that option. In any case, when you have some tomes, what you do with them is go to your viziers, tap on them, and tap tutor. And the number of students that you can tutor depends on the level of your vizier. This is one of my most advanced guys, so he can work with 4 people. You can tap on one of your guys, and if there's a student who you've got who has a better tutor rating, you can replace him. So like he's got a 25 out of 40 military rating. I could replace him if I had somebody with a better rating than that. But let me back up one second. One of the things that most people know is that the viziers each have a different specialty. Davitt, for instance, has a military specialty. Hersek has military and the little hearts that are glowing, right? This guy is military and politics. Military and research. This guy is military and politics. Murat is kind of a bonus guy because he is attached to everything. And therefore, he can tutor any kind of specialty. So you can see 2 of my students, or actually all 3 of the students I have connected to him right now, have different affinity ratings, different types of bonuses, right? So I could put any kind of student with him. But the way that you actually get students into the classroom is you can pick any vizier. It doesn't matter who you pick. They all have the option on that second tab of hitting Air Develop. So over here, this little arrow, you can limit or filter rather the kind of heirs that you want to look at. Do you want to look at the ones who have who do or don't have tutors yet? If you want to see the ones who don't have a tutor yet, you can do that. If you want to see the ones who don't have any development yet, you can do that. And what happens then is that the people that you see are going to be your kids who are married but have not had any development yet and are not attached to a tutor. The best ones are the ones that have higher levels. Those are the 40s and 50s. And maybe even the 30s, right? So you can see I have a lot of kids. I've been busy. So now there's kind of something a little bit, to me, wonky about this, which is that, say I want to go in and tutor Truman. He's a level 50, which is good. And his specialty, as you can see, is military. I've got 3 different options here. I could use regular scrolls. I could tap on the middle scroll and use that, which gives me a better chance of having a good rating. Or if I had 10 out of 10 scrolls necessary, which I don't right now, I could use the best scrolls and have the best chance of getting him a good rating. But I don't have that, so I'm going to try the middle and hit develop. Okay, that's pretty good. He's a 27 now out of 50. So the way that I'm going to save this is to tap that glowing circle. And now he has a 27 out of 50 military rating. If I didn't like his rating, I would have to develop him again to change it. I'm clearly going to have to shut down line because these people will not shut up. I love them, but they won't shut up. So if I didn't like that rating, I could go in and change it. But I like it, so I'm going to leave it. And let's see. We go to the next person. If we use our lowest scroll, we see that even though she's supposed to have a research specialty, she got a political association, and her score is 17 out of 50. Well, that's okay. It's not the best. You can't really expect to get, a 40 out of 50 if you're using the cheapest scrolls, but there's not really a lot that you can do about that except maybe to switch to the higher scrolls. But in any case, say I didn't want her to be political, say I wanted her to be research, what I would have to do is to develop her again to try to get to the research. So it's really kind of complete luck as to whether or not they actually have the association they're supposed to. And the best way of getting them the association that they're supposed to have, at least from what I can tell, is to use the better scrolls. So because military is so important in the game, if you've got kids who have military association, don't use cheaper scrolls on them, because sometimes what's going to happen is that they're going to get, like a political affiliation or something like that. And then you're only going to be able to use them with political viziers unless you replace their score. So let's just say that I don't like this rating of 17 political and I want to replace it. So how do I replace it? I just hit develop again. And so they're telling you that their other rating of a 0 in research is not as good as what they currently have. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, so I hit ignore. Well, now they do have a rating that is the research that they were initially supposed to have, but it's only a 9. Well, that's okay. If I really, really wanted her to have a research rating, the 9 is better than the 17 and something that I didn't find useful. So if I want to save that, again, I just hit this glowing circle thing on the right-hand side. If I want to take a chance to see if I can get something even better than that, I could develop her again. And she gets a 3 in prestige. That really sucks. So I'm just going to ignore that, right? If I don't want to keep it, all I have to do is just not hit the circle on the right-hand side to replace the research rating of 9, and then it's not going to be a problem. So let's go to, Sylvia, whose specialty is prestige, and I'm going to use the middle scrolls and hit develop and see what happens. Well, she got a research. So even using the middle scroll, you don't necessarily get the kind of attribute that you want. So we're going to save that just in case we don't like what comes up next and hit develop again. Well, that's even worse than the initial development. So I'm going to stick with the first one by just not hitting develop again and just moving on. That rating of 16 is automatically going to be saved. So the way that we can then use these guys that we've developed is by going to viziers who have that kind of attribute. You can pick someone like Murat and go to tutor, and if he's associated with any of those heirs, as in he has research or political or whatever kind of affiliation that they do, and they're stronger than any of the ones that he currently has, you can replace them. But unfortunately, these guys are all stronger than the ones that we just developed. So let's see if we can't go down and find somebody else. Let's see. No heirs in political. We didn't do any political. Let's try Lala. No. I don't think I did any prestige. Yeah, okay. So those little red notification dots are telling you that in your list of developed heirs, you've got some that are stronger than his current ones. So his current ones, you've got Walden with an 11 out of 60, and you've got Davis with a 14 out of 20. Walden's skills here are kind of wasted because 11 out of 60, he's got the potential for a lot, but he's only got an 11. So what I'm going to do is replace him with someone with a lower possible number, because now I can go back and use, well, yeah, she's level 50. I can go back and use better scrolls on him and maybe get a better development. So again, as you look through all of your many heirs, you studs, you can look at ones who have tutors or don't have tutors, ones who are developed or not developed, and you can improve them and so forth. But the idea is that as you're doing this, you're improving your the power of your vizier, because they're tutoring an heir with that specific attribute. So it's not a great deal of power, but it is an increase. It is a bonus. So again, I don't fiddle with the math because that's not a derp kind of thing to do. And I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of how it looks if that's not something that you've done before. I hope this helps.